what's your perception of the South?
I guess the stereotype for me would be like usually Republicans, usually not as smart, maybe.
What is a Southern belle, in your opinion?
I always thought of Southern belles sort of like 1800s, Civil War era. Basically just like really upper class white females who were supposed to epitomize like manners and politeness and stuff like that.
Okay. And your opinion of Steel Magnolias?
Was that a Julia Roberts movie?
Okay. And why do you think that we fought the Civil War?
Rights. I always hear states' rights and I always hear slavery.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the southern states wanted a different way of life than we had, and so it was kind of they wanted to break away, but
okay.
we wanted to stay together, preserve the union.
Yeah. And what's your general knowledge of the Jim Crow era?
General knowledge of it?
Yeah.
Other than like history class, I don't really know much.
What is your perception of like people from the South? Like we talked about, you know, you see them as sometimes uneducated, like the stereotypes.
Yeah.
Is it kind of the?
It
just
doesn't.
General?
It really depends on the person, honestly. Like if I think of like a typical Southerner, then I would probably think of like I usually associate them with Republicans and like rednecks and stuff. But
what do you think of the shows that are becoming popular now, like Buck Wild and Duck Dynasty? My Big Fat Redneck Wedding, things like that.
I think I do. I guess it just shows our interest in the South as like a culture.
Mm-hmm. Would you say that the South has a very different kind of culture, do you think?
I think so. I mean, I don't think it's, you know, we live up here, we go down there, it's unrecognizable or anything. But I think it's sort of different, sometimes different set of values, different way of life.
Okay, you were talking about like back home.
Well, basically where I live in a really rural area in the middle of PA. In Adams County, and I was saying like I don't think it's as actually southern as the South, but there is a lot of people there who are like obsessed with the South. I see Confederate flags.
What's your perception of the South?
General perception, it's really warm. Usually we only ever go there if we're going to the beach, so I think of it as farms and like coastline, I guess, because we don't spend a lot of time inland. That's it, me personally, I suppose. I mean, the obvious stereotypes, like the South is Republican and inbred and all those other things, but that's the general perception, I guess, that I have.
Okay. What's your perception of like a Southern belle?
Southern belle, yeah, 1800s Civil War, like rich, white, upper class, like daughters of plantation owners type of girl, goes to learn about, I guess, being a lady in the time period, manners, etiquette, that sort of thing.
Okay. And a Steel Magnolia?
You know, I never actually heard that term until now when we were discussing it, so I had no.
Okay, and why do you think that we fought the Civil War?
Civil War was very complicated.
Well, you're a history major,
I know, right? Yeah. It was a number of things, obviously. Like, the big issues were, everyone always says, like Deidre said, states' rights or slavery or whatever. I guess, I mean, those are like the main two. The South wanted to do what it wanted to do, and when the government wouldn't let them, they seceded and things happened, so.
Okay. And
it was not to free the slaves, though, can I just say? It was not to free the slaves. That was an afterthought.
Okay, and what is the Jim Crow era? As a history major.
What is the Jim Crow era?
Mm-hmm.
It's the
what do you know about
that
it?
The Jim Crow laws were in effect. It was post-Civil War, obviously, Reconstruction, etc. And when technically Black Americans were supposed to have rights, but a lot of states put their own laws into effect that that took away the rights that the Black citizens were supposed to have, and everybody in that time period, well, I should say everybody, white people in that time period thought it was okay, and it was still really dangerous to be a Black American.
Okay. And what do you think about when you hear like the words Deep South? You know,
Deep
other
South
things?
is very far south. Like, yeah, like Louisiana, Mississippi, like further down. I always just use it as an indication of the very bottom south part as opposed to the bit in the middle. So.
Okay. And the stereotypes are the same there for just your general perception?
I guess when people say Deep South, they probably mean it more insultingly than they do like that guy's from North Carolina, but no, that guy's from the Deep South, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But.
Okay. And what is your perception of just general people from the South? Do you think they, you know, Southern hospitality? Do you think of inbreeding, as you've obviously stated?
I have never met anybody from the South that's like that stereotypically Southern. Most of my experiences were pretty good. The people I've met are very polite. Once we were at the very small coast of Alabama. It's like that big. Oh, we were there for vacation and our car got stuck in the sand in front of this people's like beachfront property or whatever, and they came out of the house and helped us like push it out, and I was like, everybody here's so nice, because like they would do that, and like all the waiters and waitresses at restaurants were like super polite. And I don't know if it's just the touristy areas or all the South is like that, but everybody I've ever interacted with has been very polite, and I guess Southern hospitality sort of thing going on. So
okay, so you don't think Southern hospitality's dead yet? You don't think Southern hospitality's dead yet?
I guess the people. I mean, I'm sure there are very rude Southerners, but some people are very nice too. So
okay, so it's kind of like chivalry. It's still there somewhere, huh?
I suppose depends on the area.
So you're not really familiar with like shows like Buck Wild and Duck Dynasty, but I'm sure you've seen like Southern movies, like we're watching like Princess and the Frog, Sweet Home Alabama. Like, what's your general feelings on the way that they portray Southerners in like movies and whatnot?
I guess, I mean, it depends on the movie, because some of them definitely very much romanticize the South.
Can I try to do it for this question?
Yeah, do take Deidre.
I would say that I think that the films, at least that I've seen about the South, usually romanticize it. Like, you usually don't see a movie that's like Northerners going to the South and it's like supposed to be like a bad movie about how dumb it is. Usually it's like a movie set in the South that's supposed to be like, look at this great oasis that's away from the cities and it's a simpler life. I think it's generally romanticized, and like usually, even if it is like, you know, city people going into the South, they end up like liking it better, or at least realizing the positive qualities that it has.
Yeah, rather than
trashing it. Yeah, I think it's usually a romantic view of it.
Okay. And you just...
I agree with that.
You just agree.
We go with that.
Okay.
Racial problems in the past. You also think of people that are more friendly. And you think of people that generally more people live in the South than in the North.
And what's your perception of the South?
Of the South? That's another states. They don't have any. I'm trying to say. They're part of the United States of America. They're a little different than we are, but we're a little different than they are.
Okay. And what's a Southern belle?
Oh, it's a young lady. A Southern young lady.
Okay. And steel magnolia?
Steel magnolia? I think it's a flower.
Why do you think we fought the Civil War?
To keep the Union together. I think a lot of people think it's for slavery, but a lot of Southerners just fought it because they're Southerners.
Okay. And what is Jim Crow?
They were Jim Crows. I think they were from Missouri. They were a group of men that fought for the South, I think. Or the North, one of the two. I'm not sure.
Okay. And what do you think when you hear the words Deep South?
Oh, that's down in Florida, down that direction.
Okay. And what do you think of shows like Buck Wild, Swamp People, you know, shows that portray Southerners?
Oh, they're stupid. Sorry, but that's what I think. They're just downright stupid. All those
Okay, thank you very much. And what is your perception of the South?
Of the South?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I just think it's really cool.
Okay. And what is a Southern belle?
Oh, she's a beautiful lady that lives on a plantation and wears fancy big dresses.
Okay. And a steel magnolia?
And a what?
A steel magnolia?
It's a movie.
Okay. And why do you think we fought the Civil War?
You know what? I don't know how to answer that because all my life I thought it was because of slavery, and it wasn't. I don't really know.
Okay. And what is Jim Crow?
He was a traitor, right?
A traitor?
No?
I can't tell you. What do you think when you hear the words Deep South?
Deep South?
Mm-hmm.
I think people who hate Northerners. My friend moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, and she told me they really think the South is going to rise again.
Mm-hmm.
Today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And what is your perception of people from the South?
Oh, I think they're, based on Virginia Beach, very friendly.
Okay. And what do you think of shows like Buck Wild, Swamp People, shows that portray Southerners?
I don't like those kind of shows that portray anybody.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
You're quite welcome.
What's your perception of the South?
My perception of the South, it just seems like a pleasant place.
Okay. And what's a Southern belle?
Oh, it's a dainty lady. It's I don't know. I kind of have two pictures because I know a Southern lady who she says, we always say, bless her heart, but that doesn't really mean something nice, but you would think that she was a Southern type belle, and so, I don't know.
Okay. And what is a steel magnolia then?
It's a flower.
Why do you think we fought the Civil War?
My belief is that it was over, the slaves, and it was also about financial, like import-export goods and things like to that.
Okay. And what is Jim Crow?
I have no clue.
You have no clue. Okay. And what do you think when you hear the words Deep South? Dueling banjos. Perception of people from the South.
I think they, I think they're more polite. I think they have better mannerisms. Everybody, I've done some traveling down south, and the people were just always so nice. Like a gentleman forced me to eat a biscuit, and I was just so pleased to do it because he was so polite, and I hate biscuits. And it was just for the most part, they seem nicer. It's slower paced. It's just a happier and kinder surrounding.
Okay. And what do you think of shows like Buck Wild and Swamp People, Moonshiners, shows that show people from the South?
I think like I've watched the Swamp People, and I think that's a really good picture of how other people have to live their life. I think that's really good. I don't know all the other ones. I know some of the ones that, I think that I don't like shows of any sort that make people look ridiculous. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's, I think it's just a different lifestyle, and there's no reason to be insulting or treat people that live in different areas as if they're less.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time.